TTIP is the most important thing that is happening in Europe right now. It's a secretive deal being negotiated between Europe and the United States.
Una vez firmado, consolidará una parte primordial del plan de gobierno estadounidense para crear un nuevo bloque global que asegurará el dominio de sus empresas más grandes. Para lograr evitar a la OMC, están creando los 3 acuerdos internacionales más grandes que el mundo ha visto. Se llaman las 3 grandes T: la Asociación Transpacífica, o TPP en inglés, la Asociación Transatlántica de Comercio e Inversión, o TTIP, y el Acuerdo de Comercio en Servicios, o TISA. Todas están siendo negociadas en secreto.
We only found out when WikiLeaks was able to leak parts of them.
What's interesting is when you look across all of these deals, whether it be TTIP, TPP or TISA, China is excluded, but also Brazil, Russia, India, South Africa, they're all excluded because those are the emerging economies.
What is not often understood is that these agreements are part of a geopolitical war. This is a new war which is taking place between the United States and China. The United States is very scared of the rise of China, so it has moved to militarily encircle it through what is called the pivot to Asia, and now it's moving on to doing that economically.
The basic idea which comes across from reading US strategy papers is the construction of a new grand enclosure. And to put inside this grand enclosure the United States, 51 other countries, 1.6 billion people, and 2/3 of global GDP. To integrate Latin America away from Brazil and towards the United States, to integrate Southeast Asia away from China and towards the United States, and to integrate Western Europe, pulling it away from Eurasia as a whole and towards the Atlantic.
De las grandes T's, WikiLeaks ha revelado 4 capítulos del TPP, que afecta a 12 países en las Américas y Asia Occidental. También hemos obtenido y revelado el texto de TISA, que afecta a 52 países, incluyendo a la Unión Europea. Pero casi todo TTIP sigue siendo secreto. Cuando se firme TTIP, cubrirá la mitad del PIB global y afectará a todos los estados europeos. Aún así, los parlamentarios europeos enfrentan restricciones serias al tratar de acceder al texto propuesto.
If EU parliamentarians want to see the TTIP, they have to call the US embassy and make an appointment. The appointments are only available 2 days a week for 2-hour time slots. Only 2 parliamentarians are permitted at once. They go to the US embassy, they have to hand in every electronic device, so they cannot possibly make a copy. They must agree to keep everything confidential, and then they're led to a secure reading room where 2 US embassy guards watch everything that they do. How can EU parliamentarians possibly understand what they're negotiating for Europe under these circumstances?
Las corporaciones más grandes del mundo no tienen ese mismo problema. Ellos han recibido acceso VIP desde el primer día y han tenido una abundante influencia en sus negociaciones.
These treaties will have huge implications for literally almost every critical issue that an individual citizen or community would care about: health, education, the environment, privacy, and access to medicines. I mean, the list could go on.
Uno de los aspectos más criticados del TTIP es un sistema llamado ISDS en inglés. Es un tribunal internacional secreto que le permite a una compañía demandar a un estado sobre virtualmente cualquier cosa que puedan decir que afecta a su inversión.
If a protest affects their profits, they can sue. If laws affect their profits, they can sue. If new regulations might impact where or what they want to do with their money, they can sue.
This is a new power which will be handed over to US corporations to sue the governments of Europe in a parallel judicial system which is available to them alone. So people have no access to it, domestic firms have no access to it, governments have no access to it. It's just there for foreign investors, in this case, US corporations.
Basándose en la historia de ISDS, los críticos argumentan que la soberanía y democracia europeas están bajo un serio riesgo. Entre las previas demandas se incluye la compañía sueca Vattenfall, que demandó al Estado alemán por $3.7 billones por eliminar la producción de energía nuclear. British American Tobacco demandó a Australia por pasar una ley que limita la publicidad para la venta de cigarrillos. la compañía francesa Veolia demandó a Egipto por elevar el salario mínimo.
What is so scary about this is that corporations want to lock in their power. So they not only want increased power, but they want to make it impossible for sovereign governments to reverse the changes which are going to give them power.
The history of these agreements shows that they're very difficult to change unless people can see what's in them. And that's why they're kept secret. Because when the contents are revealed, it generates an opposition.
Wikileaks ha tenido considerable éxito retrasando el TPP al abrir un debate acerca del mismo y al revelar los borradores secretos de TISA. Nuestra publicación de un acuerdo anterior, el ACTA, logró su eliminación. Wikileaks está recaudando 100.000 euros por uno de los secretos más buscados de Europa, la Asociación Transatlántica de Comercio e Inversión, TTIP. Ayuda al mundo a ser un lugar más transparente. Haz tu parte. Visita wikileaks.org/TTIP-reward.